We're Thinking About, Episode 3, Religion. Studio Raphael presents We're Thinking About with your host, Aidan Brookstone. Okay, I'm going to step into this topic in the best way that I possibly can. I'm going to talk about religion in a way that ideally upsets or frustrates as few people as possible and covers the basics in the most interesting way that I possibly can. See, the way I see religion is that it is completely man-made and it is not in alignment with what the universe actually desires for us. I tend to see people who are religious who are stuck more often than they are progressing. Religion seems to be something that tends to hold us back rather than something that pushes us forward. Religion has us worshiping something or praising something that is outside of ourselves. It has us believing that the control that we have over our lives is something that comes from somewhere greater than us, rather than it being something that is innately within us. From my understanding, our mind is an extension of that of the creator and the creation. I talked about this before, the dual slit experiment, where our minds can look at particles and will actually change how the particles function and where they're going, meaning that our mind is directly connected to the creation. Our mind manipulates space, manipulates energy. We're just directly connected to what we create and what we do. I mean, my experiences with religion come in Judaism and they come with Christianity. I've learned a lot from religion in general. I think Christianity has a lot of great teachings. I think Jesus has a lot of incredible teachings. And I think Judaism has just a lot of beautiful ways of expressing itself. I love the idea of, there's these incredible ideas about the candle and about the nigun, which is, each of our individual souls' tunes. There's just so many beautiful concepts that are expressed through Judaism and through religion in general, but it doesn't take us to that point of becoming self-sovereign. It doesn't take us to that point of seeing ourselves as that direct extension of God and having to treat ourselves with that loving care and respect that God would want us to, and that we want to. When we stray from ourselves, when we become tired, when we become overworked, when we just become generally exhausted and unhappy, do you really think that's what was intended for us? Or do you think that's what we've come to create over the course of many centuries? The very concept of us having to suffer and just being sad, it doesn't make sense to me, if I'm being totally honest. For me, I've just come to see life as this very loving, honest, kind expression that we're always capable of choosing a higher path. We're always able to look at our neighbor and smile. We're always able to respond to a situation with love in the best capacity that we can. We don't have to choose anger at any situation. We don't have to choose to be frustrated or to yell or whatever else. I mean, maybe frustration kind of just comes with things. That's something that, I get frustrated myself too. I still have emotions. I still feel these things, but when it comes to how I respond to things, I choose love. I choose to take the highest path of love, because when you choose love, you release something. You don't create an attachment to it. When you become angry at something, you hold on to it, you harbor resentment, and you create this tension within yourself due to a scenario that happened outside of you. And all of a sudden, 20 years down the line, you're still angry about something that happened 20 years ago. But what happens if you choose to respond to it with love? If you choose to say, these people or this thing, it did the best that it could from what it understood, but it doesn't do me any good to hold on to it anymore. It doesn't do me any good to hold on to something that just doesn't help me, especially if maybe whoever we're angry at doesn't even remember the scenario. So what good is it to believe that God is angry at us and to believe, maybe there's only the one Son of God or that there's a very specific way to do it if it completely ignores the fact that we're still hurting ourselves in the process? What good is it to put blame on another, to put blame on something outside of ourselves for where we are, without taking any sort of personal responsibility for how we respond to it? And I understand that that's not always an easy thing to respond in a loving way when life has dealt you a bit of a bad hand. It's just a reality, unfortunately, these days, and it sucks and it's sad. And for me, this studio is about doing something about that and helping to create the positive change for that going forward. But I understand that responding out of love is not always easy. But what if we did it? What if we did choose to respond out of love in every situation? What if we did choose to rise to the occasion rather than constantly falling flat on our faces? What is the potential if we were to rise into that? I see a lot of potential. I see a lot of opportunity for what is truly possible if we choose to just respond to everything from a space of love. And I realize that this kind of sidetracked from religion in some ways, but my intent here is not to bash religion. My intent here is not to turn people away from any sort of religious belief or ideology. My intent is just to say that if religion accomplished what I believe it would have been created to set out to accomplish, then I don't think we would be seeing the world as it is today. That was kind of what had me diving deeper into the teachings of Jesus and learning more about him, is because I looked at the world around me and I looked at Christianity and I was like, there's no way this is what Jesus was teaching. There's no way that this is what he was saying and that this is what he would have wanted. And so by diving deeper and by understanding more, I came to sort of see the mental indoctrination that comes with religion and the potential negative side effects that come along with that. And unfortunately, that's just kind of the reality of the situation, but it doesn't mean we can't change it. It doesn't mean that we have to abandon everything that we've done. It doesn't mean we have to turn away from what we've created, but we just have to remember that at the root of all this is a very loving and kind God that wants to see us live our best, most abundant, loving lives. This was me sort of thinking about religion a little bit. So anyways, like, comment, subscribe, get engaged, get involved with the Studio Raphael community. My name's Aiden. I'm super grateful to have you here as always, and I just look forward to what's coming next. So keep staying true to you, and yeah, I'll see you around the studio sometime. Take care.